As a surf-stoked grom in Australia in the 60s, we were hearing the Beach Boys, of course, like all of you. And I have to say, if you go back in history, the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson had a huge part of establishing what we would call is the Southern California beach culture, which became a billion-dollar industry. If you look back in the 60s, after Gidget's dad wrote the book about Bohemian surfers hanging out at Malibu, it exploded into the surf industry with the first guys, the surfboard makers, like Hobie and Gordy right here in Huntington Beach. And up in the South Bay, you had Bing and Greg Knoll and Dewey Weber. And then people forget that right along around that same time, a couple of surf brands started. They're still around today. Birdwell, Caton, Hang 10, and look where you're at today. You have these giant billion-dollar companies that all got started because these guys were singing songs about Southern California beach culture. I think we just need to give them a round of applause just because of what that did. We're going to start off like we always do when we have a celebration of life, with Duke Iper coming up to blow the conch.
I have to borrow that a minute. Aloha, everyone. Oh, that's not good enough. Everyone up there, everyone down here, aloha! That's more like it. That's the Huntington Beach I know and love. The blowing of the poo is a call to the divine, an invitation for us all to join in this moment to celebrate the life of those that passed before. Brian. My lips aren't working.
It's a microphone.
There it goes. I'm going to say a little prayer for everyone. Talking about unity and protection, I think we all need today in this moment. And much love and respect to everyone that has joined us today.
Thank you, Duke. Duke's going to be leading the paddle out, those that are going to participate. A little warning before we even paddle out today. It's pretty testing out there. And Duke's going to make the call, so he's going to lead the charge. If you're not experienced in the water, I don't suggest you try to go out, even though we have our incredible lifeguard department on the beach and the jet skis and everything. But it's serious stuff out there today. So Duke's going to lead everybody out. And he's going to get everybody outside as far as he can get everybody out. And it's going to be Duke's call to decide whether you form a circle or not. If it's too testing out there for the circle, the whole idea is to ride a wave in for Brian. And that would be a great memory if you catch a wave and ride it in. I'm going to be up on the pier watching. I'm really good at mind surfing these days. So I'm going to give an award at the end of the day to the ride of the day. Now you remember it's Duke style. So I want to see somebody step off on the sand. If somebody does that, they're going to get Ride of the Day and a special award from me. With that said, I'd like to bring up our mayor, Pat Burns.
Oh, this is an awesome crowd. Look at this. This is why I love this place. I love and care for this city so much. It's so stoked on it. And I'll tell you, I go back to Beach Boys since this is the first album I remember after my mom's Engelbert Humperdinck and Tom Jones albums. My brother had it, he was older, and I know every one of these songs I could sing them all. I wouldn't for you, I wouldn't want to ruin them. But I'll tell you, I'm not going to mourn this guy's death. Brian had a great life. I'm going to celebrate his existence. He left his mark, and we can only hope that we each do something like that. And I'm stoked for it. I'm stoked for all of us getting together and celebrating his life. And have a great time. Be safe. Thank you. Oh, Tony Strickland's going to come up and say a couple words.
My mate Tony here.
Thank you.
He's not up in Sacramento changing the world.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, Huntington Beach. Hey, Brian Wilson was such an inspiration. The Beach Boys and what California's about, California culture. Cars, the most beautiful women in the world, right? And surfing. So I want to just say thank you for all the organizers to celebrate a wonderful life of someone who made a difference and someone who really epitomizes California, and that's Brian Wilson. And what a genius! Those songs live on forever. And so, thank you for doing this, and it's an honor for me to be here. Welcome to Surf City, USA.
Yeah, mate. He's a bit taller than me to bring the mic back down. Yeah, I mean, as Tony said, it's a great thing to have all of us out here today, actually to celebrate Southern California beach culture. I mean, that's important to all of us. That's why we all live here, is because we love the surf and the sun, just like they sang. It's my honor now to bring up Mr. Kelly Miller, the CEO of Visit at Huntington Beach. We wouldn't be here doing all this if it wasn't for him.
Got that new hip. I got to be all safe. Can you hear me on in the back and up there? All right. Well, aloha. And I am so glad to be here to talk about the paddle out for Brian Wilson to celebrate his life and his music. I'm with Visit Huntington Beach. We're the official destination marketing organization, and we have the pleasure and honor of promoting Surf City USA around the world. Is that a great job or what? And I got to tell you, I'm truly blessed to work with a great team who put this together literally 8 days ago. So we got Kevin who works on our team, Cool Kevin and Dean, and we were talking at the office over here. We said, well, we should do something for of course, Brian Wilson. And that turned into a lunch, and we said, let's do a paddle out on International Surfing Day. 10 years ago, we did the world's largest surfboard. Yesterday was Brian's birthday, and this is the first official kickoff weekend of summer. What a great, great alignment of the stars. Now, I did not personally know Brian, and I did not know the Beach Boys personally, but I can tell you that those harmonies, those lyrics, and those crafted surf culture songs, it stirred my soul magically like I'm sure it did all of yours. I'm a fourth generation Alaskan. That's a long way from Southern California. And I can tell you, now that I've been here for 12 years, I'm so proud to live here, but I can remember a house party that my father took me to with his work colleagues. I was 5.5 years old. And Don Stater put on Surfing USA. And all of us young kids jumped up and we started dancing. And it was a magical time, and it transformed my life. And I tell you what, it brought me from the cold southern Alaska, Juneau, Alaska winters right down here to Southern California. And I can remember thinking that beaches, surfing, bonfires, woodies, VWs, sunset, guitar strumming, sing-alongs, surfing trunks, Huarache sandals, and of course, bikinis as a 5.5-year-old. Now, Dawn had 3 daughters, and I felt like yesterday, all four of us dancing, and we just wanted to be cool like the Beach Boys. And I can tell you that I think, and I can speak for all of us, that music, it really did strike a chord, good vibrations that I think forever changed the music and pop culture around the world. See, in Alaska, we'd seen the Beach Boys on TV. We only got 2 channels. It was black and white. And we used to beg our parents, when the Beatles or Beach Boys were on, please, please let us stay up late. We want to see the Beach Boys. And they did. A couple more years after that, Beach Blanket Bingo movies hit, and we can remember sitting in the movie theater for $1. 50 cents to get in, 50 cents for a Coke, and a big deal of popcorn. And we watched In the Darkness, Annette Funicello, Frankie Avalon, and of course, Eric Von Zipper with The Finger. Remember that? Oh my God. And we thought to ourselves, wouldn't it be great to one day live in a beach, in California? Well, fast forward several decades later, and I was in 1980s, and I thought, you know what, I'm in Alaska, I'm gonna move. So without a job, I moved from Juneau to Ocean Beach, right down here in San Diego. I had $10,000 in the bank, and for a kid who's in his 20s, that's a lot of money, right? And I said, I'm gonna do it. And I felt I was in heaven. I was swimming at La Jolla Cove, I was body surfing on the backside of Coronado Island, and that sweet smell of summer, palm trees, and guess what? No mosquitoes there like that we had in Alaska. So I bought a Volkswagen bus, and I can remember, a bus, and I can remember making those Maxell tapes. Remember we used to make those? And I'd make a cool mix, a surf and mix, and the Beach Boys and Jan and Dean were all in that. Crazy thing, I moved back to Alaska, and I opened up Budget Tapes and Records in the Nugget Mall. And guess what? We sold so many cassettes, and at that time records, and a new platform that was coming out, CDs. And guess what happened? The soundtrack to Cocktail came out, and Kokomo, and guess what? The Beach Boys were back to #1. We sold a ton of that music, and it made those winters a little bit more bearable. Well, then life hits, right? 4 decades later, I moved to the lower 48 in the 80s, have kids, work hard. And after raising a couple kids, my lovely wife and I, Kate, who's right over there, thank you, honey, we get a call from Brett Barnes, the guy who opened Duke's Restaurant right over here. And he said, it was July 4th, 2013. And Duke, I'd applied for the job as president and CEO of Visit Huntington Beach. And who wouldn't be stoked at the opportunity to come here and promote this great destination around the world? And Brett called me before, he says, Mr. President and CEO, how are you? I said, did I get the job? He said, yes, you did. Well, full circle. The guy who offered me the job to come here and work is the same guy who opened that restaurant, which is the site of the iconic Avalon Ballroom, which is the first place that the Beach Boys played in Huntington Beach. Isn't that amazing? So we drove from Hilton Head Island, Katie and I, spent about 10 days all across the country, and I can remember both of us. We had 2 cars packed full, and we hit Beach Boulevard off the 405. And I can remember coming over there, we were talking on the phone, we hit Adams Avenue, and we finally saw the Pacific Ocean. And we said to ourselves, this is where we're going to be living. And that was 12 years ago. So why does all that matter? All about my life and stuff. Well, let me just suggest a couple things. I think deeply embedded there's that emotion in our souls that moved many of us when we first heard Brian and the Beach Boys. That emotion was reborn for us on Beach Boulevard, and we're back in Cali, and we call it our home. And I can tell you, we both felt at that moment 20 years younger. But I can tell you, after driving across the country for 10 days, we didn't look 20 years younger. But we were here in the place where George Freeth surfed right here at this pier when it opened in 1914, the place where Duke Kahanamoku, where the statue is, hung out, the place that hosts the world's largest surf contest, and the region that Jan and Dean and Brian Wilson penned and recorded Surf City, USA, which was the first hit on the Billboard 100 that had the word surf in it in 1963. Isn't that amazing? So again, why does that matter? Because at Visit Huntington Beach, we strive each and every day to do one simple goal, one simple thing. We want to drive into the hearts and minds of every visitor or potential repeat visitor the brand promise of who we are. And let me suggest this, and this is what we talk about all the time. Huntington Beach is the quintessential California beach destination. Would you agree? And I'm telling you, we see it on the face of everybody. Even in COVID, when people were locked down, they were coming down here. And we see young and old alike. They come to the beach, and it just transforms them. There's something that happens in their soul. It's because for myself, that little dancing boy when I was 5.5 years old, to moving back here and going through everything we've gone through in the world, particularly some of the challenges right now, the sunsets and the Beach Boys, how they make you feel. I'll always remember it. And that, I would suggest, is the power of a genuine brand. And there's no question, Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys are a genuine brand. It creates magic moments and it transforms life, especially with every magical spin we have on this earth. And those get more and more precious every year that I'm alive. So what a perfect weekend, right? All the things that I talked about. And I just can't believe it that 10 years ago today, 66 people hopped on a surfboard right here and broke 2 world records. And when I watch the documentaries of the Beach Boys and I see Pet Sounds and how long that took and the agonizing part, PT can attest to that. And there are many people in this audience who were here when we did that. We broke those 2 world records. That seemed like we were giving birth. And when I listen to Pet Sounds, I know that felt like they were giving birth too. But what a great, great opportunity to come together right here, Surf City, USA. So to all Brian up there in the sky, the Beach Boys, friends, family that are gathered here, we simply say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. Chris Epstein, our local author and musical historian, penned for us a wonderful tribute to Brian. This entire piece is going to be published on our website, but let me just read just a couple of words from Chris's well-thought words. Today, we honor Brian Wilson, one of the music's most cherished poets and artists, a songwriter and performer whose unparalleled talent gave birth to the ultimate soundtrack of Southern California and beyond. He crafted a sonic experience that made every kid in the early 60s feel as though the next great wave was just around the corner, right? Poised to carry them to places beyond their wildest imaginations. And as we reflect on his legacy, we celebrate not just the songs, but the spirit of carefree joy, friendship, and an adventure that permeates every Beach Boy melody. Brian Wilson's music is not merely heard, it is felt, deeply woven into the very fabric of our lives and the essence of Huntington Beach's vibrant history. Brian, we know you can hear us, so from all of us on this day, we're going to sing you happy birthday. You ready? He can hear us up there. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brian. Happy birthday to you. All right. Now you can see why I'm more the behind the scenes guy, that I'm not on a microphone singing. But now it's a great pleasure for me to introduce a dear friend of mine and member of our VHB Board of Directors, the one and only Dean Torrance.
Yeah, Dean.
Wow.
Hold on here, I'm not quite done. So Dino's
Yes, you are. You're done.
Well, anyway.
I don't have anything else to say after all that.
All right, I'll take cues from the master. See you, Dean.
Okay, what, need some help? Okay. I probably will. Hey, thank you for coming. This is so cool. We were lucky enough, Jan and I, to meet this wonderful songwriter, obviously, and record producer. In the early 60s, we met Brian Wilson. We had noticed that he was able to write hit records. He'd already had 2 hit records, Surfin' and Surfin' Safari. I think those were those songs. Am I right? I think that's right. And we, of course, were looking for material, and we said, well, Brian, why don't you write a song for Jan and Dean? And he said, well, I'm working on 2 songs at the moment. Will be my next single. And I'm kind of trying to figure out which one I'm going to do, because I can't do both. They're kind of similar. So I'm not saying anything anyway. I'm making it up.
I think it's broken.
No, you hold that?
Look at it. I'm going to have to hold it for you. There.
No. Come on.
I liked it better the other way. Anyway, so he said, well, okay, it's what are these songs that you're working on? And he said, Surfing USA. Okay, well, that sounds good. I mean, it sounds like a good idea. What else? Said I got it. This other song, Surf City, I'm not finished writing it. I don't know if I'll finish it because, you know, I mean, I'm leaning towards Surfing USA, and so if you want the other song and you can finish it, I don't care. All right, we'll take it. So we took the song, cut the tracks, called them up and said, we got tracks done. We're about to sing your song. Do you want to come by the studio and, hang out? You can sing with us if you want. He said that sounded like a good idea, and he showed up. We did all the vocals. Thought it was pretty damn good, and 8 weeks later it was, as Kelly said, it was a #1 song in the United States. One in England too, I think. Australia. You heard it, right, PT?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. He knows about everything. So anyway, we do. I want to say thanks to Brian for that beautiful, beautiful hit. I'll miss him. We love him, and aloha.
Oh, Lord. That's beautiful.
You coming back up? I'm coming up.
Okay. Here's PT.
Incredible story, right? Just think back on when they were writing those songs and not knowing that the impact that they would have on our Southern California beach culture, which we're going to probably celebrate not that far away in a big way when the Olympics come to town in 2028. We're going to be celebrating the Southern California sound. I guarantee they're going to play some Beach Boys. Just a quick shout out to the International Surf Museum. You see these 6 boards right here? Earlier this year, the Disney celebrated, if you caught that, on Disney Channel, the celebration of the Beach Boys. These were actually the boards that were in on the red carpet at Mann's Chinese Theatre. And later this year, we're going to be celebrating Rockin' Feet. How about that, too, up the street? We're going to have Rockin' Feet Vintage Surf Day. So these 6 boards are actually going to go up for sale. So turn up with your checkbook. We're not going to gouge. Whoever's got an appropriate amount of money, we're going to sell these 6 boards that were featured in that Beach Boys special. So let's get down to the real thing here. Who's going to go for a paddle? I see some hands going up. All right, so the deal is I'm going to stay here on the beach. I'm going to stand down here on the beach, and if I see somebody step off on the beach, they're going to get a life membership to the International Surfing Museum. All right? If I see the first one to do it, will get a lifetime membership to the International Surfing Museum. All right, so let's do this. Duke's going to lead the way. All you surfers, line up. Thanks everybody out here coming today. I got Mel Craig there yelling at me. Well, yeah, we wouldn't even be here without Don Ramsey. Don Ramsey set all this up. I was with him early yesterday morning just to find those boards in the storage unit. But anyway, let's see you guys that are going to paddle out.